You have in front of you a copy of proposed general and sewer budgets. I'm proposing no tax increases, no sewer increases. As far as from last year's general budget, a little over $2 million. 19's $2,000,002, about a 5.9% increase. Sewer budget actually went down this year. Last year it was $1,015,000. 19's proposed at $1,004,000, which is a decrease of about 1%. That difference of about $11,000. As far as the numbers, they're pretty much the same as what we went over before. Those have not changed. What else? Everything's complete now. Medical insurances are included in here. Police.
So this is just the
Public
proposed
Works.
19 budget, there's no comparison to last, there's no 2018 in here?
Correct. It's just 19's.
Okay. So what is the overall increase? Is it 5-point-something%?
5.9.
Okay, so how much has income gone up? Total income?
From
I think that's actually gone down. What's the total income?
total income is
For what, the tax, real estate taxes?
Everything, total income. I don't,
$2,236,700.
no, that's when you take money out of the bank account, but what is our total income? I don't see that anywhere in this budget, the total income. What line is that?
Total revenues, 1.99135, 9.7886.
No, on the
Total
one,
revenues?
on the one he gave us.
Well, there's nothing on that.
Yeah, it's not on here.
Right.
Okay,
Because that includes our reserves.
so if you subtract, I should.
If you take the 305,
2, 2, 3, 6, 7, 8,
so you're looking at 2,199,000 roughly.
It's actually less than that. It's more like 1,900,000 and change.
Right, 1 million, sorry.
900 and change. Okay, so we need to. I'm not sure if I calculated. Do the calculators?
You have one on your phone, Mark?
I'm looking. I need to add it. Oh, here it is. Here it is. Okay. It's right in front of me.
Bless you.
I'm sick. 2, 6, 7. Okay, 1,930,796. That's 1,930,796. That's our actual revenue, and then the 305,000 represents basically taking out of our bank account to make it meet.
Correct.
Okay. And how much of an increase is that from 2018? Or decrease?
Budget. 18's was 1,793,180.
What represents the increase?
Excuse me?
Do you know what represents the increase?
Oh,
It's about 150,000 more than last year, I'm just curious. What the increase could be.
police salaries,
No,
admin salaries.
the increase in income.
Oh.
The question was income. We're still on income.
Earned income tax, real estate tax, our assessment went up a little bit, which generated a little bit more income. Everything else pretty much stayed the same, I didn't raise that. So the increase mainly was in the real estate taxes, real estate and earned income tax.
Okay, so that's good, so we have more income.
And that will only increase with the coming year if the new home's being built.
What does that come out to be? It's about 140,000, that's about 12%? I don't know, can't figure that out. And the Comcast and the Verizon franchise fees, what do we spend that on? Is that like on our website and?
Now, that's money we get for allowing Comcast and Verizon to come into the township to offer cable services.
What do we use it for?
What do you mean?
What do we spend it on?
General fund.
Okay. And does that go up? Did that go up from last year?
No.
Okay.
Is that just a fixed price?
That's, well, it depends on how many subscribers they have.
Yeah.
That's one I don't like to
I get it.
look at as higher an amount. But generally for the earned income tax, I always raise that about 3% each year. And the real estate tax is pretty easy to gauge because once I get the assessment from the county, then I can just take that by the millage, multiply that by the millage rate.
Right.
Medical insurance went up about a little over 4%, which isn't bad. You'll see $15,000 budgeted for a new HVAC unit.
What line is that? What page is that?
That is going to be under $409,450, Township building repairs.
Okay. I have a question about tax collector wages. Are those set every year or how are those set?
Every 4 years.
Every 4 years?
Yeah, the year before he's up for election, I'll get notice from the county about if you guys wanna vote to change his percentage rate or his fee he gets for collection of taxes.
So that number is unchanged from,
It varies on the,
17.
well, it depends on the taxes, on his,
okay.
Well, it just went down 1% last year, didn't it, Kevin?
More than that, it was like 20%.
It was 20, well, it's 20, yeah, 'cause
Yeah,
it
he
went
was,
from
he was
5 to 4.
actually given a pay cut
because of the more
last year.
tax monies coming in.
Well, anyway. And what about the, Terry, you may be familiar with this, that money they wanted to use for the sandblasting of the bridge?
Yes,
Does that
that should
have-
be 175,000, wasn't it?
Where's that? Because that was,
Should
that was
be
in
in
last year's budget, and we didn't do it
Yes,
this
it
year.
was.
Do you know how
That would be
urgent that
the,
is?
That would be just in the collection of the normal real estate taxes, correct?
no,
Which
we
was in
had
the
it
general fund.
budgeted in on road or bridge repair.
Yeah, we had it last year, and we didn't, last year we put it in, but we didn't spend it this year, so the question is,
I mean, sooner or later,
Where
it's
is
gonna
it?
have to be done, and
Right.
Is that 438 on page 5 of 6?
Yeah, that's probably, yeah, line 192. Is that it? You think that's it, Terry? That's probably it. Well, maybe, no, maybe not.
Right here.
The 180?
Is that it?
Roads and bridges, yes, it should be, roads and bridges, 180,000.
Yeah, because we used liquid
Last
fuels
year was
money.
last year it was
So,
150.
it was,
No, yeah, last year it was 150. Does that mean it's gotten more expensive?
well, I don't know if it went up that high, but, I'd hold at the, like 160.
Why is it so expensive?
Well, each year it's gonna go up, I mean, until it's done.
Feels like you could build a new
Maybe.
bridge for that kind of money.
Okay.
I wish, right?
Terry, I think I remember you guys saying last year it was only 80,000 to sandblast and paint the bridge. Is there more money for something else relative to that, or is that 160
Well,
counting Tommy's work?
I think there was there was money in there because we brought them in to tighten up the arms and all the bars, because they have to watch that every couple of years. They come loose. And I don't exactly remember, it was a couple thousand for that. They come in, they tightened all the bars, you know, all the down bars. They have to be, you know, checked every couple of years and tightened up.
Yeah, I'm just wondering, are we doing ourselves any favors by delaying this work if it gets more expensive every year? Yeah, when does the decision have to be made to do it? Like,
Well, I think what we ought to do then, if you really wanna get down to it, why don't we just get an estimate on it?
Yeah,
And know where we'll be,
that's a
alright?
good idea.
Alright, how would that be? Alright, let's proceed to get an estimate, and then we have it in mind. If you wanna move some of that somewhere, you can.
So can we get an estimate before we have to vote on the budget, Kevin, do you think, or
I can certainly try.
at least we'll know what
It's
we're
gonna be
talking
tight.
about?
Grant money available too, right, from the DCED for the bridge?
Possibility, yes,
Because
yeah.
I know I handed that to you guys last year.
Yeah, but even if we don't get it in time, at least we'll know what we're talking about, because if this is gonna go up every year, why kick the can
Well-
down the road? We're just spending more money. If it has to be
Yeah.
done, and someone comes in to look at it, can probably also tell us like how imminent
Right.
the
You,
work is.
you know who you might wanna call? Call Ekman. They're the ones who come out and tightened it up.
Okay.
That's a big chunk of change, it'd be nice to know what we're actually talking about there. Are there any other big capital expenses, vehicles, equipment?
There's 40,000 in there as half for a truck. We can purchase that in 2020,
Where's that?
430, 740. And the chief has 12,000 budgeted for a car, which I'm sure he'll be purchasing next year.
I think what that is they purchase a new car every 3 years, so we're putting a third of it in the budget every year.
Right.
Yeah. This includes 410, 130 wages of police officers. That includes a 50%.
32 hour.
Correct.
Mhm.
And what does that assume? Does that assume that person starts January 1st or
Probably
July 1st?
June.
So it's
June.
half a year's salary.
Right.
Okay.
So you advertise till you do your testing and
Okay. How about our insurance, the township insurance, how is that?
went up a little bit, about 2 or 3%.
Okay, that's not bad.
Yeah. I tried to shop that around, actually did shop it around, but because of our extenuating circumstances, I wasn't able to, anybody to grab input.
Okay.
So hopefully next year I can shop that.
All right, what have you got for salaries of staff? Where's that?
That is under 401, 120,
40,
and
409, what's the for?
under expenses, 401, 120, and $438,100.
Okay, so what is that 401,120?
That's Bonnie and my salary.
Okay, can we break them out?
I can certainly, sure, I can do that.
What percentage increase is that? What are we giving everybody else?
3%?
3%? So does that represent a 3% raise?
No, not from Bonnie and myself. I had my salary at 82 and Bonnie's was gonna be 65.
And what percentage increase is that for each of you?
Bonnie's I think is 6, mine's 10.
Okay, why is there such a big increase? We talked about this earlier, it was, I mean, don't we usually give everybody the same increase?
Not generally, I don't think they've done that in the past.
Okay, so you tell me the justification for a 6% increase for Bonnie when everyone else is only getting 3?
Because of her increased workload, with Lorraine gone, she's doing the check, she's doing, she's doing payroll, she's doing, this is in addition to her regular sewer work, payroll, checks,
Okay, but this is temporary, when we get a bookkeeper in here, she'll be doing less work and she'll still have the increase in pay.
well, we had talked about possibly moving Bonnie into that position.
But she still will have less work, because she'll only be doing one job. So I'm not sure I agree with those large raises. I mean, I understand she's doing more work, but if she's just not more responsible work, that is, I guess the way I would look at it is, if you're going to a higher level in terms of responsibility, that's one thing, but if you're doing just more work because there's more work,
Mhm.
and if it's only temporary, then when that situation changes, she still has this 6% increase. Is she working extra hours?
She is putting some extra in, yes. She's staying a little bit later some days.
Is it possible just to give her overtime if she works extra? Would that be a way to solve that?
I do think one thing that might be good for us is to have a job description for her if she is in that role, puts us into a position where we have better guidance.
You guys have that. I gave that to you like 3 months ago,
Yeah,
the bookkeeper.
Correct,
But
but
she's
I'm
not-
talking about if she, so she would not keep any existing duties, is that correct? She would
Correct.
strictly be everything on that job description?
Right.
we've never had a full-time bookkeeper before.
I know, but I was thinking having a full-time bookkeeper and a part-time receptionist,
Okay,
so kind of like reversing the roles.
so we were talking about possibly paying a full-time bookkeeper $25 an hour, and then you're gonna pay Bonnie $32 an hour for the same job. So that's my question.
And I'm just giving you suggestions, I mean, it's
I
totally
think we
up to
need to
you
maybe
guys.
talk about this separately.
Yeah.
Are you suggesting an executive session? Okay.
This is personnel. I understand what you're saying, but I guess for me, as having been a manager, I see that there's a difference between, I have a pile of work and my pile's gotten bigger,
Mhm.
as opposed to I'm moving into a higher level of responsibility, therefore that's kind of like I deserve more money because I have more responsibilities, rather than my pile got bigger.
Mhm.
And I guess I view that as something different. And I understand that, but especially if this is gonna be a temporary situation, but it's a permanent pay raise.
Okay,
And what's the percentage, on yours is at 10%?
correct.
And what's everybody else getting, 3%?
3.5, I think.
Which is it,
I think I budgeted 3.5.
for everybody? So that includes police, everybody else?
Police are getting 3, I believe, as part of their contract.
Okay. And everyone else is getting,
3.5. It might be 3, I'll double check.
okay.
that.
Do you know what inflation is this year?
I do not.
No, but we never went the full percent to 3% as far as as long as I was here.
What did
We
do last
discussed
year?
it, okay? And we said that, you know, we worked it out, we give them, you know, 2 or 1, or, you know, depends on the economy and how it was going.
Do you know what we did last year? I thought we gave 3% last year.
No, absolutely
Didn't?
not, no.
Okay.
I'm just gonna answer your question, I looked it up on,
Is it okay to ask a question?
yeah, let me just really
Sure.
quick.
Maybe there's been more inflation this year.
It's, current inflation rate for the United States is, for the 12-month period ending October 18 is 2.5%.
I think inflation's a bit higher, so.
As far as the treasurer is concerned, I thought the treasurer worked for the board. Are we getting rid of the treasurer and making the treasurer now a bookkeeper? And then who picks up the treasurer's responsibility or whatever?
The treasurer always was the bookkeeper, as far as my understanding. Lorraine was always the treasurer.
Lorraine done it, yeah, everything.
But she was listed as the treasurer though, and she worked directly for you guys. The bookkeeper would work, from what I'm understanding, under Kevin, not under you guys. Is that fair to say?
I think what you're thinking about is the titles, like there's a secretary and there's a treasurer, but those aren't like paid positions. A treasurer is more like someone who's responsible, you can correct me if I'm wrong. Like Kevin is the secretary, but it's not a paid position, it's a title.
Right, it's like the manager, or, you know, just like the solicitor, they work at the pleasure of the board. So when the board says
No.
they're done with them, then they're done with them.
No. So Kevin is the secretary, but that's not a paid position, that's a responsibility,
Right.
just like treasurer.
Responsibility, a
Yeah,
job
Okay.
it's not an actual
responsibility, yeah.
position,
Okay, thanks.
and we could look that up somewhere.
Just getting back to your question earlier, Marla, you had asked about salaries. I'm sorry. So I'm looking at 438, page 5 of 6. What was the percentage of that? That's for the roads crew.
I think I was either 3 or 3.5.
Okay.
Okay, look at last year, it'd be helpful if we had last year's, that's one. Yeah, it was, okay, it looks like 3% is what you're giving them this year.
Okay.
Sorry, I don't mean to scare
No,
you
no,
guys.
no, no,
I-
He's gonna make it.
I'm down here.
Terry's like, get away from me.
Yeah, I'm hoping that's not what they say. Sorry, guys, I'm sorry.
I did get a flu shot.
There you go. Sorry, guys.
No, 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 it's terrible.
No.
Looks like our big ticket items we wanna ask about are the bridge. And I think everything else is pretty, there's nothing else that's different than last year, is there?
No,
Okay.
there's no new titles or line items or,
Okay.
I think the gentleman that just walked in. I don't know if he's looking to pay or anything.
It's too early for a tax collector.
yeah.
Oh, today is Monday, you're right.